Wow, so generous, so generous. Give yourselves a round of applause. I got the most generous audience. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna need is a gallon of warm water. Second thing, a cup of kosher salt. You're gonna need a vessel, like a bowl. You're gonna need a whisk. And you're definitely gonna need the chicken. All right, so the first thing you wanna do is grab your bowl and you grab your water. You're gonna pour the water in. Pour all of it in the bowl, the whole gallon. Pour it all in there, get it all in there. Oh yeah, beautiful nectar of life. Now, you're gonna grab your salt, a cup of salt, measure it out. I'm gonna whisk that around. You wanna get all that salt out of there. So if all of it don't come out, get a little bit of that water, scoop it in there and put it out, get it out. All right, so we're gonna get that in there. I'm gonna whisk it. Once that salt is all incorporated and dissolved, then you're just gonna add your chicken wings. This is about 12 chicken wings. I'm just making enough for today. Tonight, it's only 2 of us, so we'll do 12. These are small chicken wings as well. So to explain the brine is the warm water, 1 gallon of warm water, 1 cup of kosher salt. This is one of the biggest secrets that a restaurant has for getting a lot of flavor into chicken. What happens is the chicken absorbs that salt, and it's not too much. It's just a cup to a gallon of water. So it's not too much. And what it does is soaks up that salt and that flavor. And when you cook it, it retains the moisture. The chicken retains the moisture and makes the end product more juicier and a more full flavor, more robust flavor. Okay? Okay, potato salad. So what you're gonna need is a knife, of course. You're gonna need potatoes. Can't have potato salad without potatoes. Eggs, kosher dill pickle, green bell pepper, red bell pepper, Vidalia onion, lemon, salt, sugar, pickle juice, measuring spoons, a peeler, and some paper towels. Okay, so first we'll peel our potatoes. I like the wide peelers because they're kind of spacious. Like the mouth of it is kind of spacious and it's really easy. And I'll just start off like this because once I'm done peeling, yeah, you guessed it. I just grab the paper towel and ball it up and throw the whole thing in the garbage. And that way I can save myself on the cleanup. Take my paper towels and just discard those. All right, now, to get nice cubes, I cut the potato, let it naturally roll on its regular side. Don't try to force it to stay one way. Just let it naturally come to a stop. And you just split it in half. And if you have a little mark like that, you can always take care of that later. So then you make sheets. So I'm gonna make 3 sheets so I can get some even, close to even as I can, potatoes. Take it like that, 3 sheets, and then I'll cut it in cubes. Then we'll take those little brown pieces and just cut those little brown pieces off. Not a big deal, okay? Now, I got a bowl of water over here. The reason I'm putting those potatoes in a bowl of water is because I want to stop the oxidation, meaning I want to stop the potatoes from turning brown. You know, I don't want to have any ugly potatoes. The reason why you want even potatoes when you're cooking is because if you have a giant piece of potato and a small piece, then they're going to cook different. So the giant piece won't be ready, but the smaller pieces will be. So when you're making uniform cuts like this, it ensures that the product will cook evenly all at the same time. Now we're going to take our bell pepper. So what we do, sit on the side. We're going to cut off the top. Then we'll cut off the bottom. Okay, now get rid of that stem. We're gonna put these to the side, so we're gonna cut those later. I'm gonna show you guys how to make good uniform cuts and dice. We're gonna do like a medium dice or a small dice with this. So you cut off the top, you cut off the bottom. Now take it and go right down the side of that bell pepper with your knife. turn it to the side, and kind of open it up. Now you lay your knife down on the flesh of that potato, and you want to take out the pith, the white part. So you just slide your knife across, and you're taking out all that white. And it's like a sheet. You have a clean sheet, and you've taken out all the white. Discard that. And get all your seeds out like that. You scrape those up. Discard those seeds, and then we'll start cutting this into sheets. So you got 1 sheet, 2 sheets, 3 sheets, 4 sheets. Now put those over to the side, and you work with manageable pieces. So you don't want to crowd your cutting board. So you put everything that you're not working with over to one side. Either side, it doesn't matter. So now you're thinking about, oh, this is going to be raw in a potato salad. So you don't want giant pieces because it's kind of bitter, but it does have a very fresh, nice taste. But you want little small pieces. So you get that small uniform pieces. You just cut into kind of medium julienne strips. And then when you get those strips, you turn them to the side, stack them up, and you come back and dice. Really small little cubes. And then you'll have nice uniform pieces that won't be too small, won't be too big for your potato salad. I'm gonna do the same thing with each one of the sheets. Just gonna take them, line them up, and now dice. And if you follow that method, you'll get uniform cuts every time, and you'll become better and better at uniform cuts. Don't be mad if it's not exactly perfect the first time you do it, or the second time, or the 15th time. You'll get it eventually. And then we'll start with the onion. So you got an onion. Vidalia onions are very sweet, and they have a very nice texture to them. They're not like yellow onions, like the regular hard yellow onions. They're a little bit sweeter. They even shape like a little disc. So you just cut off the top, cut off the bottom, discard that, and just peel it. Take that first layer off. And what you want to do with this one, you want to turn it to the side, and you're going to make cuts, horizontal cuts. You're going to make them the same size that you have the bell pepper. So you'll take your first cut. You can even, I'll do it like this so you can see it. I'm not going to cut all the way through though. So I just take it and almost cut all the way through, but not quite. So I'll go like that. And I'm not going to use the whole onion, so I'll cut all the way through here. I'll place the rest of the onion there, okay? Now, the only reason I didn't cut all the way through is because I want to kind of manage the onion and be able to keep it uniform. So now that I got the cuts here, 1, 2, 3, it's about the same size as the bell pepper. Now I take it on the top, and then I'll just make little cuts here. 1, just the same size, about the same length apart as that medium julienne cut, because I don't want to use all, probably not going to use all the onion just for this potato salad. So now I'll just take my knife and go across. Onion is about 97% water, but it does have a lot of flavor, and it does emit a smell, so it can be overpowering. So you don't want to put too much onion in, just enough so you can taste the onion. Okay, that's the onion. You want 1 spear and a half of the kosher dill pickle. It adds a very nice taste, and all of these ingredients, they balance out, okay? You got different textures and different tastes, and they balance out. So what I like to do with the kosher dill is I'll split it right down the middle. If it's a big one like this, I'll just take it on the end, and I'll make thirds, 2, because what I'm trying to do is get a sheet. So once I got my sheet, take it, and I'll cut 2 little pieces, and we'll do it just like we did the bell pepper. And we'll get nice little cubes, same dimension, same cut. Okay, get nice little cubes out of that. This adds a very good taste to the potato salad. You get a little tart taste in there. It's a burst of flavor. They don't have to be, you know, 100% beautiful, just so you feel like you gave them some uniform cuts so you can get that same uniform bite. You want a little bit of this in every bite, okay? So that's the pickle. Okay, so now you got your diced potatoes and water. You got your pickles, onions, red bell pepper, green bell pepper. Now, I'm gonna show you the secret to making perfect hard-boiled eggs. Okay, so the secret to making perfect hard-boiled eggs is you're gonna start off with cold water. You just wanna run the water in the pot to it's about 3/4 of the way up and covers the eggs, okay? Cold water, start off with cold water. Now you turn the heat on high and you're gonna let these come to a boil. Once they come to a boil, now this is the secret. Cold water, cover them up just to cover them, and once they come to a boil, let them boil for exactly 2 minutes. Once they boil for exactly 2 minutes, you cut the heat off. You let them sit in the pot for 6 minutes, 6 to 8 minutes. Done. Okay, so your potatoes, you can use the same water that you had them resting in. Just make sure they're covered. High heat. Okay. And use 2 potatoes, so we'll use a tablespoon of kosher salt. Put in that water, give them flavor. Just a little pinch more. We're gonna let those come to a boil, okay? Once they come to a boil, we're gonna let them continue to boil until they are fork tender, meaning that when you stick a fork in the potatoes, it goes all the way through very easily. Okay, now we're ready to put together the potato salad. So, got my potatoes, have been boiled till they're fork tender. So they're nice and delicious. Just taste one, really good. A little salt flavor in them. So put my potatoes in. And this is only 2 potatoes, 2 medium-sized Idaho potatoes. So this is roughly about 1.25 pounds. So you're looking at about 18 ounces of potatoes. Now, to those 18 ounces, I'll add, because you don't want to overpower anything. You don't want anything to be so powerful that overpowers the flavor combination, okay? So I'll add about 2 tablespoons of my red bell peppers. I'll add another 2 tablespoons of my green bell peppers. And then I'll add about 3 tablespoons of the onions. I'll add all the pickles, which is about 2.5, 3 tablespoons of pickles. Add all of those little puppies in there. I'll add my sugar. Sugar is going to balance out the flavors. You're going to add 2 teaspoons of sugar. Add a teaspoon of salt. Wipe my hands off. And you'll add about a tablespoon of pickle juice. Pickle juice is very acidic, so what it does, it works like vinegar. It balances out the flavor in your product. And we're also going to add lemon juice, another acid. So the lemon, we'll just cut that lemon in half. And we'll strain out, just squeeze, it's gonna be about a teaspoon of lemon juice, fresh lemon juice. That lemon juice wakes up the flavor in just about everything. Next, we'll add the eggs. They're hard boiled. Let's see how they came out. Oh, what do you know? Perfect, no green. All right, let's go. Let's see what I'll do. That's 1. Just give a rough chop to the eggs. You don't have to be, you know, really uniform. Make sure not to put too much pressure on a knife while you have the eggs in your hand. If you're cutting them with your hand, you can put them on the cutting board to cut them, whatever way you feel safe cutting your eggs. You put them down, you cut them. Just a nice rough chop. I'm gonna wipe off my hands real quick. And we'll add mayo. Now, so I said I had about 18 ounces of potatoes. So I'm gonna add about 8 ounces, 6 to 8 ounces of mayo. And I'll add half a tablespoon of mustard. Now what that mustard does, all of these flavors, it's a chemical combination and it gives it a really nice balance. And get all those flavors in there. So now we'll just mix this. Some people like it warm, some people like it cold. But the thing is, because I'm from down south, I live in New York, but I'm from down south. And the thing is about potato salad is, you'll hear Southerners say, hey, I don't eat everybody potato salad. So I had to formulate and make this potato salad over the course of about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, trying new recipes, old recipes. And what I finally settled on was a good Southern style recipe. And when Southern people taste it and tell you it's good potato salad, you got some good potato salad. Now what I did to finish it was, I just put it in a nice little container and sprinkled a little paprika over the top in a true Southern tradition, and planted some nice curly Italian parsley right in the middle. And that's your potato salad. Okay, now we're gonna finish the chicken. Get it ready for the oven. I'm gonna take your chicken and drain it, okay? Get you a few paper towels, and just once you drain it, just make sure it's kind of blotted, dry, but not really like, just, you don't have to squeeze it or anything. Just make sure the excess water is off, okay? Blot it. Okay, now that you got it blotted, fairly dry, you want to take some olive oil and just want to kind of drizzle the olive oil on. Not too much, maybe a couple of tablespoons. Finger. Garlic powder. Since you already have salt and it's been soaking in the salt brine, just want to get some garlic powder on. I'm gonna say about half a tablespoon garlic powder, half a tablespoon onion powder, and about a half a tablespoon of paprika. So you got olive oil, garlic powder, and paprika. Okay, now I'm just gonna take that with your hands and just nicely coat it in there. And you'll smell it, and it'll smell awesome. Okay, so now we're gonna put them in Pyrex, and we're gonna put them in the oven. Preheat your oven to 350, and let's add some herbs. I'm a huge herb guy. I love to cook with fresh herbs. So what I'll do is I'll just put a few pieces of rosemary in there, fresh rosemary. You don't want to put too much because rosemary is very, very strong. And same thing with sage. It's very strong, so you only want to add a few leaves. You're gonna cook with some herbs and some thyme. You can be a little bit more generous with thyme because it's a mild flavor, but it's a very good, homely, familiar flavor. Okay, so we'll just put all our chicken in there and we'll separate it. You don't have to tie the legs back or anything or bend the legs back. You want it to cook kind of open, and you want to just get all of them in there and each one of them in their own little individual spot. You just don't want to have anything overlapping because you want them to cook even. So even if you have to kind of put them in there like a puzzle, that's fine, just as long as they have their own little individual spot. It's good for the herbs to be on the bottom. Some can linger on the top or in between or whatever. That's okay, that's cool. But those herbs, once you smell them and they impart their flavors on the protein, oh man, you'll never go back to not cooking with fresh herbs again. Okay, so when I'm not making barbecue sauce from scratch, I'll use Sweet Baby Ray's, open pit, French yellow mustard, light brown sugar, and fresh lemon. So I have 12 small wings. So I'll use 1.5 cups of Sweet Baby Ray's regular. I'll use the open pit, about 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of open pit barbecue sauce. 2 tablespoons of French's yellow mustard, 2 teaspoons of fresh squeezed lemon, and about 1/4 cup of light brown sugar. We'll turn the heat up high at first, and then we'll just let that come to a simmer, and we'll let that cook on a very low heat once it comes to a simmer. And just cover it up. Let it simmer. You're gonna let that simmer, and you're gonna stir it periodically. So you're gonna let that simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but just watch it carefully and stir periodically. Okay, so now the chicken is pretty much done. It's about 2 or 3 minutes away from being done. So what you want to do now is jack the heat up all the way to broil. And that's going to give you a little crust on top. It might blacken it just a tiny bit, but that's good because after all, it is barbecue chicken wings. So that surprise side I was telling you about is spinach. Now, it's not going to be cooked or anything in traditional way like maybe you thought it was going to be cooked when I mentioned spinach, but what I'm going to do, take it out. This is only about 1 ounce. It's only 2 of us, so I'll show you how it's plated once get it prepared. So what we're going to do is take that. You're just going to bunch it up real good. This is only about 1 ounce of triple wash baby spinach. You take it out, bunch it up, then you try to roll it and you give it like this is called chiffonade. When you roll it, and give it a chiffonade cut. Okay. All right. Well, just gonna put it back in the bowl. And then we'll hit it with a drizzle of olive oil, like that. And you'll just mix that olive oil in with the spinach. Nice little strips. Triple wash baby spinach. Okay, at this point, you'll take it out. You see you got a little tiny char on it from being on high broil for the last 2 or 3 minutes that it was cooking. What you want to do now is your barbecue sauce has been cooking about 25 minutes, simmering, and you cut it off. Now you just want to take it out and get that BBQ sauce over your chicken. And by allowing it to cook and simmer that long, what you've done is allowed it to thicken. Okay, and you're just gonna spread. There might be some small pockets of barbecue sauce. Everything, just get it over there, and any little small pockets that drip down, just get it, and see any place that needs to be covered on the rest of the chicken. Because what happens when you put it on, there's kind of a liquidy broth in the bottom of the Pyrex from the chicken juices being cooked. So you just want to it'll make it easier for you to get that barbecue sauce off the bottom and just spread it on the chicken. Now once you do that and get it all over your chicken, You just put it back in the oven. Turn the heat off on the oven. And then you can start the plate. Okay, guys, so we're all done. So you got chicken wings, barbecue chicken wings, southern potato salad with chiffonade, spinach on the bottom. Bon appetit.